It is officially here. College football week 1 is upon us. We're breaking down all the big games. It is time to get the SEC squad together.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad, sponsored by Game Time. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skin are prohibited. Squad up. You're part of the SEC squad.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the SEC squad. Sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we get you ready for week 1 of the SEC. Let's welcome in our squad panel. This week, we got Jay Smith of Locked On Sooners. Got Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss. Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy. John Neighbors, Locked On Razorbacks. Matt Moscona from Locked On LSU making an appearance. Clint Shamblin from Locked On Bulldogs. And our buddy Matt Galatson making an appearance from Locked On Aggies. Gentlemen, welcome in. Happy game week. We've waited all freaking year for this. It is finally upon us. Let's jump into it as we do in season when we do the squad show. We always like to start segment 1 with asking, give me a prediction for your team this week. Not a score prediction, but something you think you will see from your team this week. Jay Smith, let's start with you.
Yeah, the Sooners are going against the Fighting Redbirds, who also was 10-3 last season in FCS play. Very tough opponent for us, even though they lost to Iowa 40-0. So in my eyes, I think that we should get double-digit sacks this weekend against Illinois State and make them kind of suffer there in the trenches.
I like it. Stephen Willis, what you got?
Well, obviously, you could take the low-hanging fruit and say Austin Simmons 300 yards, a couple of touchdowns and stuff like that. But I think Kewan Lacey is going to have a plus 50-yard touchdown run this weekend.
All right. Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy.
Against Charleston Southern, I think you're going to see the debut of Martell Height as a three-phase player. He's going to score a punt return and an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, I've heard he's going to be going both ways. John Neighbors, how about the Hogs?
Well, they're going to score a lot of points and put up a lot of offense because that's really about all this team is going to be able to have this year. So against Alabama A&M being the easiest opponent, better put on a show, put on a little showcase and show that Bobby Petrino still got it. But I think you're going to see a lot of stats being stuffed for the Razorbacks on Saturday.
Shouldn't be any complaints about Sam Pittman this week. Matt Moscona, what you got on LSU?
I think neither LSU or Clemson scores 30 points.
Wow. I like it. Defensive battle. We're going to break that down here in just a second. Clint, give me a thought on the Bulldogs taking on Marshall.
Marshall last year gets rid of all their running back room. New transfers coming in. They have something like 65 new guys on this roster. I think Georgia holds Marshall, and this is not something to sneer at, under 125 rushing yards, which was a majority of Marshall's run last year, was over 200 rushing yards. I think this new look defense on Georgia is going to hold them down and keep them from getting over that mark.
Yeah, we want to see that Georgia defensive front get dominant again. Matt Galatson, Locked On Aggies. What are you thinking for the Aggies taking on UTSA?
Well, Jeff Traylor runs a good program at UTSA. A couple years ago, they had 10 wins. Last year, 7-6. I think they're going to be a little bit overmatched here. I've got 2 Aggies running for over 100 yards. Ruben Owens and Le'Veon Moss both going to break the century mark and score a touchdown on Saturday.
I like it. Le'Veon Moss, of course, back off that injury from towards the back end of last season. Gents, we will get more into some of the other games, but I want to start with some of the big ones. And right here, we're going to get into LSU versus Clemson. It is a marquee game, 2 top 10 opponents. Of course, all the talk about the quarterbacks, Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier. We know LSU has built a lot of, rebuilt a lot of their team through the portal. Clemson bringing a lot back. So, Matt, we'll start with you. Give me initial thoughts on this game.
I think it's teams that are very similar, but they're built differently, if that makes sense. You have 2 unicorns in Klubnik and Nussmeier, and that they're fifth-year players that didn't transfer. They've stayed at their university their entire careers. I just don't think we're going to see that very often. Both are very deep, talented, experienced teams, but Clemson returns 16 starters. They have the most returning production in the country. LSU has a ton of depth, talent, and experience. That's what happens when you spend $18 million on your roster. It's just that most of these guys came via the portal. So the question for LSU is how quickly can all the new talent assimilate? But they are, it's what it's supposed to look like. I would comp it to what Ole Miss did a year ago, what Ohio State did a year ago in the portal, and going ham to go all in behind a veteran quarterback to trying to win a championship. It worked for Ohio State. It didn't work for Ole Miss, and that's kind of the hand that Brian Kelly's playing this year.
Moscona, if we was talking LSU winning the game, what do you think has to happen?
They got to run the football. It was LSU's Achilles. It's so weird, guys. Like I don't know about all you. We became conditioned for so long watching LSU in the Les Miles era running football. I mean, it's all they did. LSU was allergic to the forward pass for 15 years. And now you've seen Burrow and Daniels, who've been awesome. And, a year ago, LSU was dead last in the SEC in rushing offense. They were 107th in the country. And a big part of it wasn't always that they couldn't. It's they didn't try. They were 60-40 pass to run. So Joe Sloan's got to find balance in his play calling. Clemson a year ago, guys, for all the hype around Clemson's defense, and listen, Parker and Woods are outstanding. I think both those guys are going to be first-round draft picks. But Clemson was 84th in the country last year in rush defense. In their 4 losses, 3 of them they allowed over 200 yards rushing, and the other was Georgia that ran for 169 against them. So I think that's a defense that has some good individual players, but has a lot to prove with a new defensive coordinator. You want to open up the box score on Sunday and see the outcome of the game, look at LSU's rushing total.
Open up to the squad. What are you guys thinking on this game?
So Matt, I was going to ask you about the evolution of LSU's defense. Like, what do they kind of have to, obviously Cade Klubnik, but like focusing in on Clemson's offense. What are you expecting out of their defense? What do you expect out of LSU's defense?
The thing is, guys, when we were all at media days, I saw quite a few guys there. Like, every interview I did with people, I tried to stress 2 things that I think most people don't know about LSU. Number 1, Garrett Nussmeier is the leading returning passer in the country. He's the only returning 4,000-yard passer in the country. Number 2, LSU had the number 1 portal class by a country mile. Steven knows this, what Ole Miss did a year ago. They went all in behind Jackson Dart to try to win a title. And Lane Kiffin gagged away 3 games he had no business losing. That's what LSU did this year in the portal. They went and loaded up, particularly on the defensive side. And I could tell you names, but you're not going to know them. Like, I could say, who here knows who A.J. Halsey is? Probably nobody, I'm guessing. Well, Chris, I know you do because you're an LSU guy. But, A.J. Halsey was all conference in the Big 12 last year at Houston. He's played in 36 games with 33 starts, and he is freaking amazing. He just showed up on campus in June, and he's already the best safety they got. Nobody knows that name, and I get it. It's not like saying John Mateer coming to Oklahoma, which I get why that's high profile and people know that name. But I'm just telling you, man, if it's Patrick Payton, who came in from Florida State and he's got 40 career TFLs, he's running with the 2s at defensive end. They're loaded, they're deep, they're talented, at every level. It's just a matter of, can they put it all together and how quickly they can put it all together. Whit Weeks is back. Harold Perkins is probably the name that we haven't spent enough time talking about because Harold, coming off the torn ACL, but he looks awesome, man. Y'all will be envious of this. Brian Kelly gives us a ton of access. We get to watch the whole practice. We get to watch all of it. So I don't have to look at 10 minutes of stretch and guess. I can go watch a full practice and tell you. Perkins is not wearing a brace. He's out there playing the star, so he's out there in space, just like a cheetah, hunting linebackers and dudes in space. They look great, man. It's just they got depth. It's what a $20 million roster should look like. It's just really bring it all together.
Here's my only thing with LSU, because you named names and Perkins got to put it together this year or I'm done trying to hype that train because I've hyped it for a while on him. Yeah. I think LSU, it all comes down to the coach. You mentioned LSU's deficiencies last year. They are reminiscent of Georgia's deficiencies, actually. Yeah. Third down, Georgia couldn't convert a third down. We went 55% to 39% on third down because we couldn't run the ball. And that's what ultimately had us lose against Notre Dame. LSU season, because you look at the schedule, they got to get off to a hot start in game 1. We need to see this improvement in that defense in the run game right away, because then they got to stretch of very tough opponents all the way through. Florida's no joke on that defensive line. So what I'm looking for, I don't know who's going to win this game right now, but LSU, for me, I want to see him start off real hot and imposing that power. I get it. Nussmeier's awesome. Give me run, Kelly. Give me that line push and doing 3-yard line of scrimmage difference. And that's going to make me go, oh, now my pick for them to make the college football playoff, I feel really good about.
When you look at Clemson and you look at the Baylor, those are the two games this weekend where a Big 12 team and an ACC team has a chance to take an SEC scalp at home. It is going to be a cauldron in both of those games. LSU has to be able to run the ball, especially with a new offensive line to protect Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier is a fantastic quarterback. Heck, I made the Netflix documentary as an Ole Miss person talking about Garrett Nussmeier. He's an excellent. Awesome. Yeah, it was crazy. But if you don't allow him to be protected, you're going to be problematic in getting a W out in Clemson because they need this W. They want this W. And LSU hasn't won a season opener in 5 years. So them and Auburn, they're going into cauldrons and they need to be ready for it. I think LSU is going to win the game, honestly, but I want to see how they react at the beginning when it's very cauldronous.
Yeah, I think when you look at Clemson and with LSU, kind of as Matt made mention of, LSU spent a lot of time getting some good portal players. The question now is about them gelling. I know the interior defensive line was a question because it was so young last year. You had a lot of good players. Dominic McKinley's one of my favorite recruits. I followed him since he was in middle school. Love everything about him. And I think that now this is the year for him to put it together. The question really is, what does that interior look like for you all going into this season? And then with Clemson, they've got a lot of old people on their roster. They're playing with a veteran offensive line, which is a rarity, in a way, but they're showing that they did a really good job of recruiting and they're bringing back so many players. I want to see what LSU's run defense looks like in this game. And I think that to me will be what dictates most of it, because if Cade Klubnik is forced to throw it too much, they haven't really seen a lot of success from that.
So LSU's offensive line, the guys that they're going to count on have played more than 100 games with 60 starts.
Yep.
They just haven't played at LSU. I mean, Braylon Moore is a 2-year starting center at Virginia Tech. Josh Thompson's a multi-year starter at Northwestern. I mean, DJ Chester started every game for LSU last year. They've got so much old guys. I mean, you want to go to the defensive side? They brought in Jamari Butler from Nebraska. He's a defensive end who's a 6-year player. They brought in Jack Pyburn from Florida. He's a 4th-year guy. They brought in Patrick Payton from Florida State. He's a 5th-year guy. They brought in Bernard Gooden from South Florida, who has been awesome, by the way, in this fall camp. He's a 4th-year guy. Like, they're all old dudes that have played a ton. They just haven't played at LSU. It's very singular for this team. They're super talented everywhere. They just haven't all played together. And the coaches talk about how they got great leadership, and it's been really encouraging, and that may be the case, but it's such an unenviable task to have to, I wish, guys, they had a New Mexico State in week 1 just to go for a test drive before you got to open it up on the Autobahn against Clemson. Yeah. I mean, it's just, there is no, I would feel so much better about this game from LSU's perspective if this was Oklahoma playing Michigan in week 2. They get a week to go out there with a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback and a new running back and some new receivers, and you get to go you just test drive it. You're just going to spin the wheels a little bit before you got to open it up on the fast lane. There's no time for that for LSU with this game. So that's the thing that gives me so much pause. This is a team that in November we will be looking at saying that's one of the 5 best, most talented teams in college football. It's just, how quickly do they get there, and will the record be good enough to get them in the playoff?
Real quick, guys, show me a show of hands. Are you taking LSU to pull off the upset? Raise your hand. We got 1, we got 2, we got oh, wow, over half the house. We got 5 hands here. All right, so we'll see. Some people feeling good about LSU. Scone, you did a good job selling it. All right, good job.
I'm picking Clemson. I got a 24-20 game. It's just, I think these defenses own the day. It's just, if this game were a neutral site, if this game was in Baton Rouge, or this game was in week 3, I'd feel so much differently. It's just,
that's fair.
If they end up playing again in January, I think LSU would dog walk Clemson in a playoff game. I just don't know that I can pick that week 1 at Clemson.
Lots of experience, sure you can.
Well, when
they haven't played together. That's the problem. They haven't played together.
When we return, the next big game, it's Texas at Ohio State. What can we expect from the number 1 overall team, the SEC squad? Talking more ball next. Hey, we first want to remind you guys about our friends at Upside, and this goes for all you SEC fans. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. You simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use our promo code Locked On College, and you can get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, you'll think it's too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app using our limited time promo code. Actually, the code is football. Football, FOOTBALL, for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code football. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. And hey, when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands of the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, and their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. If you use the part finder, you will find all the tools and 3D schematics will save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. And you can join the free Trade Master program today. Score some serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support line. All you got to do is visit supplyhouse.com. Sign up for free. Use our code SHCollege5. Get 5% off your first order. That's at supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Hey, guys, real quick, we have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We got a listener survey up. It is at lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, it's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Go check it out today. Scan that QR code and get registered. All right, guys, we are talking number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State. Look, we have had you guys overly criticize the number 1 Texas Longhorns on this show in recent weeks, and I thought who better to get on to give us a quality Longhorn take? A former Longhorn himself, a parade All-American in 2000, the number 16 overall recruit in the class of 2020 of 2000 rather, came into UT on the heels of Chris Sims and Major Applewhite, got his chance to shine before handing the reins over to a guy named Vince Young. He is the man with the record for fewest passes intercepted in a season at the University of Texas. He is former Longhorn Chance Mock joining us. Chance, welcome in, man.
I appreciate you guys having me. I'm looking forward to hearing all these wonderful perspectives.
Chance, you don't know. We've been getting tons of hate from the Longhorn fans on our SEC Squad show saying you guys are just hating on the Longhorns. They're the preseason number 1 team. So give us your take, man. Big stage on the road to Ohio State. What are you thinking on this one?
Well, I think a couple things. Number one, I think if this game happened last year, I think it's an embarrassment. I think Texas was lucky to catch Michigan on the way that they caught them last year and was able to get a little momentum, right? I also think this year's team has a very different attitude, and I like it because for a long time, I mean, you can go all the way back to David McWilliams, to Makovic, to Fred Akers even, Mac Brown. And what was the talking point all the time? Oh, at Texas, everybody takes a shot. And you get that from Alabamas and the Tennessees and the Georgias, and I see an Arkansas flag. You don't get that as much, but that's okay. But we always hear that. And so that's what you get the coach speak, right? Well, finally, you got a team that's like, no, I mean, everybody's taking shots. Why don't we turn that momentum and change it into we're going to put the target on other people? We're being the hunters, not the hunted, right? And I think this team has a different attitude. And the last time that I saw that was with my buddy VY. He was Vincent Young, but then all of a sudden he got to take – I'm going to tell you all this real quick. It's probably too much. We're sitting in quarterback room meeting, and Coach Davis is sitting there. He goes, Vince. And Vincent goes, Coach, we got to hold on. My mama has called me Vincent my whole life. Who is Vince? And the whole room busted out laughing. And from that point, he became Vince Young, but he was Vincent. But that team started with Vince Young's attitude. That team lived and died with the way that Vince set the tone in that locker room. He was the one. He was the one that made them play loose. If you look back at that 2005 team, they felt like world beaters because they played loose. They went into the horseshoe and they played a very tough Ohio State team, knowing that that target was on USC down the road. I know that Arch hadn't played, and I know that there's going to be bumps, and Texas fans aren't going to like hearing this. He's going to have bumps. It's going to happen. The difference is, I think Arch has lived his life in the spotlight. He's lived his life watching his uncles, watching them fail, watching them succeed. He's been there. He's seen it. I don't think the show gets too big for Arch, and I think he plays relaxed because of what he's been raised to do his entire life.
It's a pleasure to have you, Chance. And by the way, open forum, you guys. If you guys want to jump in, anybody got anything for Chance? But that was going to be my next question: is how does he handle the workload? You know, the pressure of being the quarterback at Texas. That itself is a lot of pressure. But being the preseason #1 team on the road at a top 5 team, it's does he feel the weight of the world on Saturday?
I don't think he does. I think he has a really, really nice thing on his side right now. The offense is going to take time to get going. I like what they're doing. I think I like what they're going to do. I think Arch fits significantly into more what Sark likes to do than what Quinn did. That being said, we all know this. Defense wins championships. Defense starts out faster. This Texas defense is going to be good. No matter what the offense does, this defense is going to be good. They're going to rush the passer. They're going to make it difficult to run the football, and they're going to be good on the back end. That being said, it buys Arch and that offense a little time to get in their groove. Does that work in the horseshoe? I don't know. You're going to have to score points. That's just the fact of the matter. But I like the fact that you do get a guy and you get to go face a quarterback that's making his first start. Who's the pressure on? We used to like to always say that when I'm sitting in the dugout, I coach the kids' baseball team. Who's the pressure on here? Who's the pressure on here? Well, the pressure's on them. They're at home. They're the predicted one to win. And you got a first-time starter. Who's going to handle the pressure more or better, I should say? A guy making his first start who, I mean, he's a heck of a quarterback. And when you watch his running ability, I think that's going to be a bigger part on Saturday than most people really are expecting, to be honest with you. But when you take that versus what Arch Manning has dealt with his entire life, I think Arch views this in a whole different light than they are up there. And so I think that will be a difference in the game.
Hey, Chance, thanks for Kelvin Banks. Who dat? We're excited about him.
Hey,
what about?
Love him, dude.
Oh, dude, he's already awesome. He's already the best lineman they got. What do you think about the line replacing 4 starters?
I think it's always hard when you replace 4 starters. I don't think there's any good way to do it, and I think it's going to be tested on Saturday. And I think they're lucky that Arch has a little bit more mobility than Quinn, and Arch is a little bit bigger. But it takes time for that line to gel. Trevor Goosby is going to be a really good player. Is he there yet? We don't know. You don't replace a guy like Kelvin Banks and just not miss a beat. It doesn't happen. And Texas fans that want to think it's going to happen, I'm sorry, you're delusional, because offensive line is different. The only thing I can think that works like it is the defensive backs. But the offensive line has to work as a unit. And the only way to get really good working as a unit is to put in that time and preparation and the time on task. We talk about time on task all the time, and you've got to get those reps time on task. Otherwise, it's going to be a really, really long season. So it's going to take them a while. Texas fans are going to hate hearing that. I'm sorry. And I think this group could be really good by the time we roll into Oklahoma to Dallas to play Oklahoma. But they better be pretty damn good on Saturday if they want to have any chance.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was looking at with Texas, and I appreciate you saying that, Chance, because that's the thing I've said to some of the Texas fans that attack me all the time, is that just with Arch, especially in that wide receiver room, the wide receiver room is pretty young. The depth behind it is young. It's a ton of freshmen. They brought in a lot of wide receivers. I think brought in 4 or 5. So there's a lot of young ones that's going to end up playing. The question is going to be, how fast does Arch gel with them? Even though they may have been practicing together in the spring, they haven't had real game reps together yet. Now, I mean, you bring in Emmett Mosley the 5th, who he's pretty solid at Stanford when he was healthy. There's health questions with that, but you still got Wingo, you still got Moore, but behind him is a bunch of young guys. So I think adding with that offensive line, those young wide receivers is where my questions come in. Like you said, in time they're going to gel, but day one, I think it's going to take some time, and I'm curious to see how they communicate and play together when they go to Ohio State.
So I think, and I understand that question. Now, one name I will throw out there that I want y'all to keep your eye on, Parker Livingstone. Just keep that one in the back of your
Yeah.
mind. Just keep that one back there. 6'4" kid, about 200 pounds, runs a low 4.4, high 4.3 40. He's a freshman too, and he's been, from everything I've heard, he's been wowing at camp, and Arch loves him. But to your point, look, Arch comes from the Manning family. That all they know how to do is prepare. And Arch has spent so much time with those guys going back the last two. Him and Wingo are like best buddies. Like they spend a lot of time together because they knew that this day was coming. There's one thing you can say about the Mannings. They are always prepared. That family prepares well, and there's not going to be Arch is not going to leave any stone unturned when it comes to the time. You know, Roy Williams, it was great. I loved Roy. Roy'd come banging on my door at 10:30 at night. Hey, Mock, you got the keys. Let's go up to the bubble. Let's go to the bubble. I'm like, all right, let's go throw. So we're throwing at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Arch is also the guy that's around there going, hey, let's go throw, because it does a couple things. Number one, it builds trust. Number two, it builds that bond. And number three, it keeps some guys out of trouble who might have a little extra thing they want to do at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. They might not want to be throwing, and if you give them the opportunity, keep them out of trouble. I know there's some schools that have had that. Hey, we had a couple trouble issues when I was at Texas, and I had to go in and have the meeting with the coaches and vote if we're going to keep guys on the team, and that stuff's terrible. But back to your point, it does take time on task to gel. But if there is any quarterback coming into a season with a new set of receivers that I think will be prepared, I think it's Arch Manning because of what he's been prepared to do since he was a kid.
Chance, with all the hype that is going on around Arch Manning and everything, what happens if it goes sideways Saturday for him?
I don't. Number one, I don't think it's going to go sideways. I think issues are going to happen. I think he's going to I guarantee you, mark this spot on this broadcast. He is going to miss a blitz, and he's going to pay for it because his eyes are not in the right spot. That's okay. He's going to get looks he hadn't seen. It's the first game of the year. And that goes both ways. That Texas defense is going to be able to pin their ears back too. But that being said, he's a guy that he's not fazed by much. You've seen the patience. Think how mature he is to be as big of a name as he is, and to sit there and to not take the bait, to not take the poison cheese, to stay on task, to be the teammate that he needed to be to hold that locker room together. Guys, I was in a locker room with Chris Sims and Major Applewhite. All the stuff they were telling y'all in the media, not true. That was a locker room that had two guys that everybody was trying to decide which side they were on. That's a fact. Now, you got two massive egos like Quinn and Arch having the willingness to be able to sit behind because he sees the big picture. See, the Mannings don't play the right here, right now. They play the long game, which is why he has the ability to handle situations like he's walking into.
Chance, we really appreciate you taking some time, man. By the way, better analyst than Chris Sims. I'll just say that one right there. Can't thank you enough. Let's do it. Moment of truth. Raise your hand. We'll do a quick count here. If you got Texas winning at Ohio State this Saturday, we got one, we got two, we got three. So that means the other.
Hey, I'll take side bets all day.
That means 6 of you are taking Ohio State at home to hold serve. So I like it. Chance,
it's a tough environment, man. Yeah,
it's a very tough environment, but it's an environment also. You got to remember, this is a team that went into Alabama, which is one of the toughest environments in the country, and they won in there. This is a team that went up to look. Michigan was not a good team last year. They still went up to Michigan early in the season and took care of business. They've won 9 straight on the road. It's almost a team that plays better on the road than they do at home. And I was one of those weirdos that I enjoyed playing on the road. I enjoyed being booed. The more you yelled at me, the more you told me, how terrible I was, the more I freaking enjoyed it. I was like, let's go. It raised my level of play all the time. It's like, all right, now the gates are locked. We're all here together. Like, let's go. Now it's time to play. So I appreciate you guys. And I will tell you, I stopped. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Go Bills. I had to stop the new episode of Hard Knocks to come visit with you guys, and I am really, really thankful that I did. You guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, Chance. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks,
Really appreciate it. That was awesome. Yeah, Brad Kellner, our normal Locked On Longhorn host, cannot be here, so we need a Longhorn perspective. So who better than a guy who played it? Yeah, he's better than Chris Sims. All right, when we return, guys, what are some of the other big matchups in the SEC this weekend? SEC squad talking more ball next. And hey, I want to remind you guys about our friends over at Game Time. College football is back. We cannot be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. And let's be real, actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why you got to use the Game Time app, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best price with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. Pull up Game Time right now. Just a few taps. You're going to see amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games as low as $25. The app makes it super simple. You can even see the exact view from your seat before you buy. And honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way you're going to buy tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that is promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. Get $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. All right, guys, jumping back into it. We got some big matchups this weekend. Let's dive right into it. I'll throw out a matchup. If you feel one way or the other about it, just jump in. Auburn at Baylor Friday night, getting us kicked off here with the big games in the SEC. How we feeling?
Well, his name is Manning, so he's going to win because – oh, I'm sorry. That was the previous segment. I apologize. I didn't know we moved on to it just because his name is Manning. He's going to win. Sorry.
Yeah, that Baylor game is going to get tricky on Friday night. That's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that one. If you're an Auburn fan, you're feeling warm and fuzzy about that one because Dave Aranda can coach some defense and he's going to send some straight heat at Jackson Arnold, and that crowd is going to be whipped into a frenzy trying to win an SEC, trying to beat an SEC opponent. It's going to be. I mean, it's going to be from all angles, man. It's going to be crazy.
I don't think Jackson Arnold's going to be able to handle the pressure. Auburn has 4 different play callers right now, one for third down, one for first down, one for all this difference. I think Auburn is going to be an absolute I think Auburn is going to be an absolute train wreck next year. And I think Baylor is going to smoke them. I really do.
And Jackson Arnold was a disaster last year, and all we heard was all the injuries at receiver. Not minimizing that, it matters. Okay, well, Auburn has, some say, a top 3, 4, 5 receiving core in the country. Okay, you got no excuses, dog. You go to Baylor,
0,
and you can't move the football. Big problems for Hugh Freeze. I don't know, guys. I got to see it to believe it. You can hype me all you want on Jackson Arnold and Auburn and the receivers. I watched the guy play last year. He stunk. Maybe he's better now, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, sort of thing. Not buying him until I see it.
Yeah, now I'm a numbers guy. Baylor is returning the number 9 team in the country in returning production, about 70%. 9th on offense, 25th on defense. And Dave Aranda's defensive guy. We've seen him coach on the defense. We've seen him do really good. He's bringing back a lot of his defenders. 63% of that production is returning. I think that they may actually make a run for the Big 12 championship, and that starts against Auburn.
I mean, they were early last year, and all that's coming back. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's going to
LSU dump trucked Auburn in that bowl game, or Baylor in that bowl game. They weren't very good.
Yeah, but neither was Auburn, honestly, if we're going to be real about it. There's a very real world where at the end of this weekend, Danny Cannell looks like Randy from South Park over there with just going absolutely crazy. That is a very real thing that could happen. But Sawyer Robertson, I had John Forcade on my show, and John Forcade was like, hey, Sawyer Robertson was the best quarterback at the Manning Passing Academy. So I want to see what Baylor's offense looks like. Michael Trigg, the former transfer from Ole Miss, is there. There's some weapons on Baylor's team, and they're supposed to be pretty good this year. I don't know about Auburn. They've been in the news for all the wrong reasons for the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how it goes. But that is going to be an absolute cauldron. I talked about LSU and Clemson. This one on Friday night is going to be a zoo.
Well, just the disorganization of calling plays is going to be a cluster. You know what? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be scrambled in Jackson Arnold's
beginning of the season. You're going to need to have to go, like you said, like we all said, the mentality. How do you come out right of the gate? And Auburn, I don't know if they have that mentality. Baylor, I don't know if they do either. But on the road with a whole bunch of question marks, this to me feels like too many question marks to back Auburn in this game because they don't have that mentality. And the head coach is not instilling confidence to me so far.
Maybe they'll show us, but I just don't. Yeah, I agree with you, Clint. I don't have the confidence in saying definitively Auburn can win this game.
Auburn's going to win by 3 scores.
Hugh Freeze is abroad, so
very good, John.
We don't have a ton of time, guys, so I'll just throw out the other ones. We got Syracuse, Tennessee. We've got Alabama at Florida State. We've got Virginia Tech, South Carolina. Any of those you feel like somebody might be on upset alert?
Syracuse, Tennessee is going to be a very interesting one to see what Fran Brown has cooked up for the new quarterback there at Tennessee. That one fascinates me, and I cannot wait to sit there and watch it. Fran Brown has done a fantastic job of recruiting, especially in the trenches.
Yes.
And on the defensive line, that is where he has been eating. Now, he lost his best freshman to go down to Texas, which that sucks. But at the same time, doesn't feel like he lost too much in what they added back on there. So I'm really intrigued to see if Tennessee's trenches is ready for that defensive line. That game really gets my attention.
And Aguilar's a feast or famine type quarterback. If I'm reading his stuff right, he's either going to be the best in the world or he's going to throw 10 interceptions. Like there's rarely any in between with him.
Virginia Tech and South Carolina is kind of an interesting game that could get sideways pretty quick. South Carolina, Lenore Sellers is a great player, but everybody needs to remember he's being coached right now by Mike Shula. So if Mike Shula's on one side and Lenore Sellers on the other, who wins out there? Seriously.
All I know is Alabama better not lose to Florida State, bro. I don't think they will. But you lose 41 players. You got a starting quarterback who hadn't been able to crack the rotation for 3 years. You better not go to Tallahassee and lose as a 2-touchdown favorite, because if you do, I'm going to show my to the world on
Yes,
that.
sir.
That is going to be a
The good news
joyous
is they don't
day. Somebody
They
give
don't
me
got that
a
back.
flaming spear I could throw in the ground, ride a white horse in my front yard.
That's a brick game. If Kalen DeBoer loses that game, a brick's going through a window at Alabama.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. He's going to be run out of that town. He might not even be able to show up to work on accident. He's going to have to
Alabama's
be
not
escorted by
covering-
Saban.
Alabama's not covering that score. I don't think they're going to get off to that hot start. And Syracuse, Fran Brown, that team loves that man. He is a coach for Syracuse. He loves it up there. I think they give Tennessee a run for their money. I'm not calling them to get the upset, but it's going to be a closer game than what people are imagining.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting. Yeah, Alabama game could get real interesting, or it could be, the ant and the sledgehammer thing as well, too. So
Before we wrap up, guys,
William.
want to thank all you guys for joining us. We've had a couple guys who haven't been with us for a while, so it is officially week 1. Appreciate all you guys for taking the time. Of course, a reminder to our listeners, it is another big moment for Locked On college football fans. Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 are going to lead the conversation along 2-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. You'll see a lot of us on there. A college football preview only Locked On can do. You can catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. For Jay Smith, Stephen Willis, Corey Burton, John Neighbors, Matt Moscona, Clint Chamblin, Matt Galatson, and of course, our buddy Chance Mock jumping in with us. Thank you guys for checking out the SEC Squad Show. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good weekend, everybody.
peace.